Hello and welcome to Solent Sports News with your 4:30 bulletin with me, Callum Byrne.
And me, Gurpreet Singh, and here are your latest sporting headlines. Starting with football, and Scotland have named Malky Mackay as interim manager as they continue to search for a permanent appointment. The Scottish FA are looking for a replacement for the departed Gordon Strachan, who left his post yesterday following Scotland's failure to reach next year's World Cup. Mackay's first game in charge of Scotland will be a friendly against the Netherlands on November 9th.
Gosport Borough have enjoyed a difficult start to the season thanks to problems both on and off the pitch. A thinning squad and a poor run of form has put them in a perilous position. Our reporter Ashley Gregory has been to Privet Park to get the full story.
If you think your team are having an unfortunate start to the season, then spare a thought for fans of Gosport Borough. The Hampshire side sit bottom of the Southern League Premier Division, having earned just 1 point from their opening 12 games. And having been thumped 7-2 on Monday night with just a single man named on the bench, it's obvious Borough are going through some arduous times. With a stretched playing squad and massive financial difficulty, newly appointed manager Mick Catlin will have to work miracles to keep the South Coast club afloat.
First priority is to win a game. We've got 1 point in the league, which isn't good enough, and I need to get the squad built up so it's competitive at this level at the moment. Got a lot of young lads lacking in experience, so I need to strengthen the squad.
To add to their growing problems, Borough was slapped with a transfer embargo at the start of the season, limiting the club's ability to improve their squad.
The transfer embargo is imposed by the FA because of footballing debts accumulated over the past couple of seasons, and until those debts are paid, the embargo restricts us from signing any contract players, any loan players, and we can only have a squad of 16. And obviously, if we have players that are injured or players that can't play for for work reasons, we have to deregister someone and then bring another player in, which makes it very difficult.
With everything happening at the club, morale amongst the squad has been the only straw to clutch at. But how do the players keep that team unity?
It's still solid, it's still there. I think players coming in and out is a bit of a difficult one, but I mean, if they're good and if they gel well into the team and are likeable characters, then they'll get on sound and they'll join in with us.
But it's not all doom and gloom at Gosport. Midfielder Liam Kimber remains confident that survival isn't beyond the club this season.
Get a run of results going, maybe a couple of wins and then a few draws, and up until Christmas, and it start looking a bit better than what it does now.
Should survival come this season, Catlin is confident that Borough will be able to regroup and build a competitive squad for the following campaign.
We want to try and regroup this year, try and do enough to stay in the league and hopefully sort the financial problems out so that we've got a decent chance of assembling a good squad for next season.
Really disappointing to see one of our local teams in a lot of trouble at the moment.
Absolutely.
Rafa Nadal beat Gregor Dimitrov to reach the Shanghai Masters semi-finals. The world number one won 6-4, 6-7, 6-4 in less than 3 hours. Nadal will face Marin Cilic in the last four as he pursues Shanghai Masters glory for the first time.
Moving on to golf, and golfer Justin Thomas is targeting the world number one spot after a breakout 2017 season. The PGA champion and world number 4 feels no different from any of his rivals.
It's just a career goal, it's something I want to achieve, and I think any or a lot of golfers also want to achieve that.
Paris Saint-Germain chairman Nasser Al-Khelaifi and former FIFA Secretary General Jerome Valcke are set to be investigated by FIFA.
Swiss prosecutors had already opened criminal proceedings into Valcke over the sale of World Cup TV rights to Bein Sports, of which Al-Khelaifi is chief executive.
Athletes of the Invictus Games made their way home this week after a successful competition in Toronto.
One of those was Southampton athlete Cornelia Oosthausen. She won medals in 2 different events. Matt Masson caught up with her.
The Invictus Games, Toronto 2017, wrapped up at the end of September. The UK won 87 medals at the only international sporting event for wounded, injured and sick servicemen and women. We caught up with the double medalist Cornelia Oosthausen in Southampton when she got back from Canada. The former major explains how she first got involved in the Games.
After I got injured playing army tennis, ironically, nothing heroic, I learned about the Invictus Games from one of my tennis opponents, actually from the Royal Air Force. And as soon as I knew the registration was open for this year's games, I registered and I went along to the different training camps that we had for the different sports, tried my hand at a few different things that I've not yet tried out in an adaptive sport manner, and I was fortunate enough to be selected for this year's team.
Her first medal of the Games was a bronze in the wheelchair tennis with partner Kirk Hughes. This was swiftly followed by another medal in golf. Cornelia was as surprised as anyone when she won gold in a sport she'd only started playing 4 months ago.
A very pleasant surprise. I didn't have any medal hopes, frankly, specifically for golf. But I was very fortunate that 2 golfing charities that work with wounded and injured veterans, Battleback Golf and the On Course Foundation, provided a lot of help to me in the context of learning how to play golf, in addition to the golf club local to me, which is Tidworth Garrison Golf Club. They again were fantastically helpful in sorting me out and basically enabling me not to embarrass myself too much on the golf course.
As a quick learner, she's not ruling out competing in more sports at the Invictus Games 2018 in Sydney.
I know they're introducing sailing in Sydney next year, so I'd be quite keen to try my hand at that if that's physically possible to do. And I took up hand cycling this year. I've got a long way to go yet to become a proficient hand cyclist. So yes, there's certainly enough new challenges and sports that I'm still quite new to that I'd love to continue to do and or try my hand at. So yeah, basically anything I'm able to give a well. The reason I say that is when you go and trial for Invictus, a big focus initially is to try your hand at different adaptive sports, because quite often you don't know what adaptive sports necessarily exist and or whether you'd be able to physically, participate in it in a meaningful way. So a big part of trialing for the games or just for the team is just to try out new things that you otherwise wouldn't have done. And so that was certainly when it came to the golf and the hand cycling.
But Oosthuizen has ambitions to compete at the very highest level of para sports in 2020.
I have ambitions, yes. Whether I have the ability is to be confirmed, but yeah, I've been lucky enough that through the British Tennis Foundation I'm involved with some of the development squad's work that's aiming to get to Tokyo. Whether that develops into something that actually gets me to Tokyo remains to be seen, but I'll certainly be working hard to fulfill my full potential, and hopefully it'll be good enough.
With a gold in the Global Games after 4 months of practice, imagine what she'll do in Tokyo in 3 years' time. Matt Masson, Solent Sports News.
Really interesting to see someone win 2 medals in 2 different sports.
It really is a great accomplishment.
Staying local, in Southampton, a Taekwondo club has been named the best in Great Britain.
BTS Southampton are a multi-age club and have only one aim: to produce national champions and future Olympic athletes. James Pointing has the story.
Southampton British Taekwondo South have been voted the best Taekwondo club in Great Britain. The club won 30 medals in total at the national championships, with 13 of them gold. With this great achievement, the coach Joe Brown pushes his students towards one target in mind.
The overall aim of BTS is dead simple. There's only one aim. We get as many children as we can in our national team.
With his students, Joe openly talks to them that they can one day get into the national team and have a bright future.
Yeah, we talk a little bit about if you try hard, it's possible for you to get into the national team. But I would rather just say I think the future looks good for them.
So, who are these future stars?
Why do you like Taekwondo?
It makes me feel like I've got somewhere to go instead of just sitting at home all the time, and it's just a hobby that I like to do.
And how does it feel winning the gold at G1?
It was the most amazing feeling I've ever had. It was just amazing. But when I won my last fight, honestly, it was amazing.
Who is your inspiration?
My dad, because he was in the army taekwondo team, and when I was very little, 4 years old, he brought me into it.
Why do you like Taekwondo?
It's just a way to let feelings go. You just go in there, release everything.
What was the feeling going into the championship?
Very excited and very nervous because I feel like there's some very good fighters here.
Joe says that the secret to his team's success is down to having short-term objectives and keeping them included with positive feedback.
The fact that they're inclusive in the club, they're not just shouted at or talked at or ordered about, they're included. Work with children in particular is have short-term objectives.
He also says that he gets a buzz out of his kids doing well and winning championships.
I get a buzz out of the kids when they come back and they are a champion. It's a great feeling watching a child achieve something very positive in their life.
With this club, it is clear to see that the togetherness will bring them success in the future.
It's great to see the youth of Southampton being involved in something so great.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving to NFL now, one athlete from Hampshire has gone from representing his country at the Olympics to coaching students at Southampton Solent University.
Danny Macmillan played handball for Team GB at London 2012. He's now an American football coach and passing on his experience to Solent Redhawks players. Joe Crabb reports.
In a bid to find winning pedigree, the Southampton Solent Redhawks have hired former Olympian Danny Macmillan as their new offensive coordinator. After applying for an online appeal from UK Sport back in 2007, Macmillan successfully transferred his skills to handball. After picking up the sport in Germany, Macmillan was selected to represent Team GB at the London 2012 Olympics. And after his amazing Olympic adventure, the new coach finds himself back where it all started.
Well, I've been working with the Redhawks coaches, and I've been friends with half of the guys for years. You know, I've been playing American football for nearly 20 years. Half of these guys I started playing youth with, and just staying in contact with the local area, the local guys. And then when I finally got myself to be back down here, I'm based and live, and yeah, jumped at the chance really. There's an opening at offensive coordinator, which it was sad to see Phil leave last year, but lots of things going on in his life. And the position really suited to someone like myself who's got the experience, but also the know-how in coaching and you know, developing young people, young boys, young girls, and it seemed like a perfect fit for me.
With Macmillan counting his Olympic experience as the best time of his life, he also made a cameo appearance on the collectible London 2012 50p coins.
That's amazing, you know, it's a feeling which it's hard to put into words really, but when all your fans and all your friends and the whole nation are behind, no matter who you are, but Team GB is one Team GB, then yeah, it was probably still the best part of my life up until now.
With his Olympic story now over, Macmillan is no longer inspiring a nation, but his offensive lineup at the Redhawks.
The programs, the systems, and the training like I've done in my many years now as an athlete in two different sports, professionally in both, then yeah, you've got to take those experiences, the goods and the bads, the strengths and the weaknesses that you find yourself in certain situations, and bring them and put them on the table for others to learn from. The only way I'd ever look at becoming a coach is just to give back to, you know, the next generation of young people.
Macmillan's peers think that his vast sporting background will only have a positive influence on the players.
Any guy who comes in, any new coach, from any sport background, it's the enthusiasm he brings, it's the youthful side of things, and it's just a new perspective on his coaching style.
The Redhawks head coach thinks the enigma surrounding his new offence will be beneficial coming into the new season.
See, the offensive playbook has changed dramatically. We will know, obviously, as the season progresses, if that's a good thing or not. It would be a good thing for us because no one who we're playing has got any footage on our new offensive playbook, so that's a good thing.
After recruiting heavily at this year's Freshers' Fair, the Redhawks have a full depth squad for the season. And after a disappointing end to last season, the appointment of Danny Macmillan proves only one thing: the Redhawks are thirsty for success. Joseph Crabb, Solent Sports News.
There are currently 11,000 British students that have crossed the pond to take up sports scholarships and search for their American dream.
But what about those heading in the other direction? Jack Moss caught up with two basketball players who swapped estates for St Mary's Leisure Centre.
Would you travel 4,000 miles to play the sport you love? Most of us will never get that chance, but for two students it's become a reality. Joe Tagarelli and Herman Sr. are the newest addition to the Solent Kestrels. After growing sick of their laid-back lifestyle on the banks of the River Mississippi, they decided to chase the glitz and glamour of Eastleigh. But how are they settling in?
When we're waking up, everybody at home still sleeping, so it's kind of weird talking to like family and friends back home. Just like you got to pay to park everywhere over here, and that's hard to do.
After graduating from Quincy University last summer and unsure of his next move, Joe's agent came to him with an unexpected offer.
So they were talking to me about playing for the pro team, and then they asked if I wanted to do the option 2 to get a scholarship and play for Solent. And after some research, they offered to pay for my master's degree.
Despite sports scholarships being common in the States, not many would expect to see an offer from Southampton Solent in their inbox.
I was just working out after graduation and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And Joe hit me up and asked and said the coach was interested in me. And I told Joe to give him my contacts, give him my details, and then Coach Matt started contacting me after that, and then that's where the opportunity presented itself.
College basketball's huge in America and used to usual crowds of up to 2,000 people at Quincy. How do they deal with the unpredictable attendances here in the UK?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, like some teams over here will have a big following and then some teams won't, so you never really know what kind of crowd you're going to get, but it doesn't really matter. We're not here to play for fans or anything, we're just here to play for the team and get wins. It doesn't matter.
We might claim to be better at our own sport, but when it comes to basketball, most Brits would happily admit to having 2 left hands.
The game style is not, players aren't that much worse, aren't that much better in the States, unless you're in the NBA, or obviously those guys play better, but yeah, there's not a big difference.
With Joe and Herm getting their first taste of British basketball this Saturday, let's hope it ends with a slam dunk. Jack Moss, Solent Sports News.
And finally, Ipswich Town Football Club has been raided twice this week, with the thieves having a cheesecake food fight.
They not only helped themselves to multiple plasma TVs, but also expensive vintage wine from the hospitality boxes. Security has been increased since, and no arrests have been made.
Well, that's all we have time for now. Remember to check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at Solent Sports News.
We'll be back at the same time next week, but goodbye for now.